today's video, I'm going to walk you through 3 different ways to start an LLC in Georgia. But more important than that, I'm going to share crucial information that will help keep your new business safe and protected. So if you are not familiar with terms such as Commingling Funds, piercing the corporate veil, or registered agent, these terms are actually really important, and you're going to understand how they impact your LLC by the end of this video. The first way to start your Georgia LLC is to go to the Georgia Secretary of State website. You can find the link for the state site and any resources mentioned in the description below. Once you create an account, you can go through the steps here to get your LLC set up. As you'd expect, the state website is not the prettiest or the easiest to navigate. But there are no fees involved, except for the $100 state filing fee as of 2022, and there's really no way around that fee. You're gonna pay it if you go direct through the state or an online legal tool or through an attorney. The pros of using a state site are that there are no markups or upsells. The downside is that they're just not laid out well for making the registration process easy. In fact, they make it more confusing than it needs to be. One of the other downsides of the state site is that they do not help you keep your LLC compliant because the site lacks the ability to remind you of important updates and renewal reminders. I'll explain this further, but first, let's talk about what an LLC actually is so that you understand how to maintain it properly. Some people think there's a tax advantage to an LLC over a sole proprietorship, but there's not. The advantage of an LLC is the name itself. It is there to limit your liability. Imagine your business and all of your assets. It could be the office, computers, your business bank account, etc. Now on the personal side, you might have a home, a vehicle, a bank account. So what an LLC does is draws a line or a division between these two asset classes. And that division is something called the corporate veil. So if somebody sues your business, they can try to come after your business assets, but the LLC and the corporate veil are going to protect your personal assets, so they cannot come after your personal home or your personal bank account. And that is why an LLC is so important. Earlier, I mentioned something called piercing the corporate veil. What this legal jargon means is if your business is sued, the attorney suing your business is going to try to find cracks in your LLC. And if they can find a crack, then they can pierce the corporate veil. When this happens, they can come after your business and your personal assets. And that is why it is so important to not only set up an LLC, but to maintain it so that there are no cracks. Now, I'd like to explain why the state site is not great for maintaining your LLC. And I'll give you a few examples. A great service for setting up your LLC is a company called InkFile, which is an online legal tool. You'll find a link in the description below that will take you to their site. And we appreciate you using that link because it helps support the YouTube channel. The reason I like InkFile is that they have packages starting at $0 plus the state fee. So it's the same $100 state fee, but the package fee starts at $0. And one of the perks of the package is that you get a free registered agent service for a year. And this is the reason why I prefer this site over the state site. So now let's dive into what a registered agent is. Every LLC is required to have a registered agent, which is sometimes called a resident agent, statutory agent, or agent for service of process. The registered agent must have a physical address in the state your LLC is set up, and this person helps you with important communication and documentation such as franchise tax forms, notices of litigation, and legal correspondence, as well as required annual report forms. Basically, the registered agent helps you keep your LLC in compliance. Now, if you go through the state website, they just ask for the name and address of your registered agent without much context. If you go through InkFile, that service is free for the first year and $119 annually after that. And you're free to change or drop the registered agent service at any time. Now, another reason I like InkFile is that the state website does not help you with the federal aspects of your business. So here's a good example of this. Your LLC is set up through the state, but an EIN business tax number is set up through the IRS. So if you can think of your EIN as like a social security number used to identify your business for tax purposes, when you set up through the state website, they don't help you with setting up an EIN number, which is pretty confusing if you've never done it before. In the middle tier package on InkFile, they'll set up the EIN for you. I'll also include a link in the description below if you want to do your EIN setup yourself on the IRS website. Now, I also want to highlight that they will set you up with a business bank account. And this is really important to do from the beginning, and here's why. Not only does it make bookkeeping and accounting for your business easier, but you should also know if you run your business through your personal checking account, you are commingling funds. That's because you have personal cash flow and business cash flow happening in that same account. And this can create a crack in your LLC, which could lead an attorney to piercing the corporate veil and coming after your business and your personal assets. So InkFile takes these things into consideration where the state site just sets up your LLC. The nice thing with InkFile is that your dashboard helps you not only set up your LLC, but maintain it and keep it compliant with annual reports or forms that need to be filed as well. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is if you should hire an attorney. Most people are fine going through the state site or an online tool to get started. But if you have a really complex business with multiple partners, or you're going to be doing business out of state, you may want to consider an attorney. Another thing to consider if you're already doing business and you're making over $40,000 of net income, you might want to consider an S Corp. Many times businesses start out as an LLC, but as the revenues grow, they switch to an S Corp for added tax advantages. In the description below, I'll have a list of resources for you, including a really good attorney service that offers free consults if you're already making good income in your business and you have a complex situation. On the screen here, you'll see a video that goes further into InkFile's dashboard and what it looks like after you make that purchase. Again, thank you for using the links in the description below, and I'll catch you on the next video.